Hello, my name is Kindson Munonye, the application developer, and in this demonstration I'm going to teach you how to create user registration and login in Dreamweaver. This you'll do using PHP and MySQL. But before we go into the demonstration proper, I want to take my time to explain how user registration and login works before we actually do it, because a clear understanding of how it works will help you to understand and be able to do it easily. So first of all, let's look at the steps you take to be able to create user registration and login. So I've created this series of 7 steps that you need to follow. 7 simple steps you need to follow to achieve this function. The first thing you do is to create a users table in MySQL database. This is because the user data, the username, the password is stored in a table in MySQL database. So you need to create this table to hold this data. And then over to Dreamweaver, you need to create a form, a registration form, and this registration form inserts data into the table you created in MySQL. So more or less like a user registration form, and the user fills out this registration form and inserts the data to MySQL database table. Then the next step is to add the insert logic to the registration form. I think this will not be a big problem. Then you create the login form in Dreamweaver. The login form accepts the username and the passcode or password of the user and logs in the user to the other pages. Then you add the login logic. I think that is a typo there. Add the login logic to the form. Then display the login username in the page. So when you are logged in to a page, to the site, maybe to a restricted section of the site, and you successfully log in, a login message will display saying welcome so and so. That is welcome username with the actual username of the logged in user. So how can you display this username on the page? Then of course you also add a logout logic so that the user can click a logout link on the page and be able to log out. So what is the logic behind this? I also explained this in the next slide. So how does it work? Now when a user registers, I think that's a typo there. When the user registers by filling his details, username, password, first name, surname, whatever details, his username and password is stored in the database. Then in the login page, when the user enters his username and password, the system checks the entered username and password against the ones stored in the database, and if it matches, the user is logged in and the username is stored in a special variable called the session variable. So this is very important because it helps you to understand why a logged in user will be able to access other pages while still logged in without having to enter his username and password several times. And if the login fails, the user is directed to appropriate page, maybe a failure page with a message that says login has failed. Now to display the logged in username, you can access the session variable, which is given by $section username. So the session variable that holds your username on the page or on the pages in the client side. This time, this session variable is called the username. So if you access this variable, you're able to get the content and display on the page, and that is the username of the logged in user. So we want to go ahead to the system and be able to follow along in this tutorial. So let's go back. Sorry. So let's go and follow these steps along. So try to follow along. Maybe you'll be able to pause the video and then be able to follow along yourself in your own system. Okay, so the first thing we do is that we go to MySQL. This MySQL command line, I like using it to create very simple database and tables, but for a more complicated or a more enterprise database, you may not have to use this command line thing. You may use maybe MySQL Manager or MySQL Workbench to do that. In a different video, I'm going to teach you how to use MySQL Workbench to handle your MySQL tables and your MySQL databases. But for now, let's use the command line. So let's just create a database for this. Login DB. That's what. Create database. Login DB. Okay, it's created a database. So I say use login DB. Create table. TBL users. That's the name of the table. So create table TBL user. So let me use first name, surname, username, and password. First name, surname, user name, and password. Okay. I would like to make the username primary key, so I just say primary key after the username, and I think that does it. So okay, we have an error there near surname. Okay, so let's go back. Use create table TBL users. First name, last name, username, password, primary key, username. Okay, we have error there. Okay, let's create table TBL users. First name, last name, username and password. Okay. Oh, I get it. Okay. I need to specify the data type for each of the variables. So first name, Vaka, deity, last name Baka deity, username Baka deity, primary key. Okay, I get it. So password Baka deity, and I think we are good to go now. Okay, so we have it. Okay, so we have this data created here. I'm not going to insert any data for now, so I exit. So we go to Dreamweaver and continue with the other steps. So we have step 1 done, create users table in MySQL database. So the next step is create a registration form, and I would like to create a registration form in Dreamweaver, and this time we are using PHP. So you use page type has to be PHP, and I give it a name registration. Okay, save. That's fine. Okay, so let's check the next step. The next step is add the insert logic to the registration form. This registration form is blank. Maybe I'll just we need to add insert logic. So let's use the insert form with insert form wizard to insert data to the database. But before we do that, we want to create a connection to our database. So you come to databases and you create a MySQL connection. I like to call it con login, and we have local host. That's the name of the local server. The username is root, the one I use to configure the server when I installed it, and login db is the name of the database we created. So we just say OK. So we have this con login as the name of the connection, and here tbl users is the name of the table we created, and we've created a connection to MySQL, and I think that is an intermediate step we missed out here, but we've created this connection. So the next step is to add the insert logic on this page so that users can fill out a form on this page and insert it right into the database. And for me to do that, I'll just go to to data, and have here insert record. But you can just come from the menu bar and use the insert menu here, insert, go down to data objects, and there you have insert record, and we have insert record insertion form wizard. Let's use it, and we are there. So okay, so after insertion, go to, let's have a page we call success.php. Okay, so after inserting, go to success.php, and we have first name, last name, username, and password. All of them are to be submitted to the database. So table is tbl users, and every other thing is okay. So we just say okay, and that's all. So we have this form here, and we fill out this form to submit data to the database. Okay, so having this registration, let me just create a page I call success.php. So this page tells us that the user has successfully logged in, and it also welcomes the user. And this page contains a link to the logout, log out the current user. So let's create a page, PHP page, and then we call it success, so that if the user logs in successfully, he's redirected to this page. Success.php I've created, so I like to put a message like welcome whoever, and then you have successfully logged in. Okay. Sorry, close this. Okay. So this page, the user gets to this page if there is a successful login, and if the login is not successful, the user is returned back to the login page. And again, if the user successfully registers, he is also taken to the success page. So now the next step, okay, let's see. Add the insert logic to the registration form. This we have done. Create a login form in Dreamweaver. Create a login form in Dreamweaver. So let's go to do that. Create a login form in Dreamweaver. So you say file, new, PHP, create, and I want to call it login. I want to call it login. Yeah, I need to save as login. Actually, login.php. Okay, so having these 3 pages now, we are good to go. Okay, we are not done with the login form. We need to add fields for users to enter their username and their password. So I like to first insert I would like to insert a form. Yes, that's the first thing you do. And the second step is to add a username text field and a password text field. For this demo, the password will be submitted as clear text, not as password characters. But probably you may not just have to do that in real environment. So we go to forms, this text field, and ID, let's call it txt username, and label is username. Okay, and the next one will be txt password, the name of the text field txt password, and the label will be password. Okay, so I need a submit button, btn submit, and that's all. I would like to name it, instead of submit, I would like to call it login. So let me put a URL of this. Okay, so I like to display the properties window. Let me set the workspace layout to classic. That's fine. Properties. This is what I want to display. So properties windows. From there, I'll be able to change this to login. So after entering the username and password, the user can click on login. So having done this, we now move to the next step of our demo. We want to add the login logic. I think this is a login logic to the form. So how do we do that? To add the login logic, you simply go to insert, PHP object, data object, user authentication, login user. Again, from insert, insert in the menu bar, you have PHP object, data object, user authentication, a login user, and then you have this login user dialog box coming up. Username field, txt username. Remember, this is the name we gave to the text field for username. Password field is txt password, and then we validate the validate using connection, the connection to the MySQL database we created. So I call it con login. So this is it. We have a table TBL users. Username column should be username, and then the password column should be password. And if login succeeds, go to success. Go to success. That's fine. Success. If login fails, probably will remain in the login page. If all is fine, we'll get going. So we've added the login page to log in the user. So here we can just say you are currently logged out. Enter your username and password to log in. Okay, so we have this. So let's look at the next step. Now we want to display the login username in the page. We want to display the login username in the page, and to do that we want to use the success page here. So we want to say welcome the username. So we'll write a bit of code here. So come here to welcome, and we are going to use a PHP script this time. Just a minute. Okay, so somehow we need to, just a minute, let me sort out this. Okay, so let's continue. I'm just looking for the variable that is this. As you can see, the section variable username. So this is what we are going to use. Copy, and we want to display in the success page. So a bit of code here, PHP and PHP. So right inside the tag we say echo. I want to paste the session variable. So this session variable says welcome, and then it displays the username. So how about going out to test this now? And finally, the last step is to add a logout logic to the success page. So to add a logout logic there, we just need to add a text that says logout, so that a logged in user can just log out. So this is the markup for the session variable username. So to do that, I'll have to say insert data object user authentication logout user. Now we want to say we have a link called logout. Okay, when done, go to the login page. Okay, so that's fine. We are pretty much done in this demo, and we'll go ahead to test it right now. But before we do that, we need to upload it to the server. So we want to start with the registration page. And I'll go ahead to press F12 to view it in a browser, and then I enter username. My name Kindson Munonye. Username, I use my email address there, and I use a password. Not a very good password, but for this demo is okay. So insert undefined syntax, username. Wow, undefined syntax. So we have problem here. Undefined syntax. There's a problem here. Section username. I think that is the last section username is correct. So why do we have this problem? The last section username. Okay, so section username. Okay, so just a minute, let me verify this in one other site I worked on. Let's see. Okay. Let me make this verification here. This. So let's go to okay, so I need to replace. I can't tell exactly what is causing this problem, but let me replace it to the one I copied from the other side. Okay, fine. So save everything. Upload everything back to the server, and I go ahead to test this. So if everything works fine, we are sure to have this record beautifully inserted into the database. Duplicate M3 KM codes at Yahoo. Okay, for primary key. Okay, no problem. Let's use something else. Okay, so we have this insert record. Wow, it actually inserted, but it's not recognizing the it's not recognizing the session variable is not being recognized. it's quite confusing. It's quite confusing. Section. Okay, just a minute. Let me just check again on this site and see if I can get a solution to this problem. Okay, let's go from the login page this time and see what happens. So let's say login. Okay, assuming I have the login and I have this password. If it logs in successfully, as you can see, welcome kmcodes@yahoo.com. So it's actually correct, so I don't know. So log out goes, yeah, currently logged out. Login, I have, okay, enter the wrong password and it doesn't allow me to log in. I enter the right password and it allows me to log in. As you can see, okay, you've successfully logged in. To log out, we are logged out. So this is how to create the user registration and login in PHP, MySQL, and Dreamweaver. The problem we are having before is that the registration page should actually lead us to a success page, not the page that displays the username. But I'll get over this in a different demo. After now, I'll have to upload a different video where we have a smooth explanation of all of this. But for now, I hope this has been informative for you, and I would like to thank you for viewing.